Well, I'm back finally. Been down a little while. Anyway, I'm gonna show you how I built this road. My little BX tractor sitting right up here. I had to clear all this right here off, all through here. I got it all piled down through there. I hit water down in there. This is the same pond that's been leaking. Once I get me a established road through here, I'll probably dig down with a backhoe. I'm hitting sand rock somewhere right in there. I hit sand rock down there, and that's where I found the water gushing out. It rained since I done all this and built the road. Still kind of muddy. So I'm gonna make me a little bit better road right through here. Got a little chippy right here. I still got the backhoe on it. And I got sideways right here, and I finally got it straightened up and come out through here. So I'm gonna try to level this out a little bit. Show y'all how much level it is. Looking down through there. And I'm gonna turn it right. There it goes. I keep forgetting about that all the time. Anyway, I'll show you again. I'm using my iPhone. And I gotta walk up here to get my little piece to mount it up. So I'm gonna, let me start right here. See right down there, the way the bank went out. It started right there and went across, and I dug it out right here. I can go as wide as I want to, but this is all I needed. I keep about, let me back up here. Wait, see about what I'm talking about. I got brush pile all in here. It's swampy and I about get stuck in there every time, regardless of what I use. I'll show y'all about, I'm using my hand to show y'all. I'm gonna start right up there and work my way down to right in here somewhere. I had to quit the other day. And I'm gonna go about right here. I don't think it's leaking in here, but I don't find no water over here. But you can see about cookie. You can see about how I have to cut it down. It don't have to be completely level, but it does help a lot while you're digging. One of the trees I dug up with a backhoe. It was sitting right out here. It was always hard to get around mowing. And yeah, all this right here was just, I let it grow up since 2020. I had a John Deere 325, I think, with a bucket with teeth on it. And it was bad because I never got to it for several years. I cleaned it up like this, and it growed up pretty good, but it was kind of like bunch of hedges and small pine trees big around my leg, all in here. I left that pine tree and I figured I would let it grow like that. See, it's the way it bent back up. If it grows and don't die over, I'm gonna let it stay there and see how long it lasts. It's just unique. Might be a good thing if it ever grows up big. I think the leak is down there further because I got a lot of water coming out over there. And here, I'll show y'all the pond before I get started. And that's where I was working on, right over there. The leak is in here somewhere. It goes off right there. Before you could even see the holler. And it filled up this much so far. Since I stopped that one leak, I kind of dammed up around, like I made a false down. I found another one where it was going in. It wasn't filling up, it just going back out. I dug down, I hit sand rock again. Had a feeling all the old tree stumps I found in there and the sand rock is the cause of it. I figured if I get down here and find a problem, if I could stop it down here, might be a lot easier trying to find it up here. And I couldn't do it back in last year because there wasn't no water to run out. Everything was a lot lower, and I had to wait until it filled up before I could figure out where the water come from. So now, since it's running out, I don't know if I show you or not, but the little mud puddle right there is filling up, and just on the other side of that hump, the little dam that kind of built across there, is another spring running out that way. It's coming from up there. Here, I'll show y'all right quick. It's gonna be a long video. I'm just gonna let you know that. Y'all can skip forward here and there if y'all want to. Because most of this just in the beginning is gonna be talking, showing you what I'm dealing with. Oh, here, I can, right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. I don't know if y'all can see it. See that water flow going out right there and going over there. And it's, let me back up where y'all can see what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see this little dark area right there. It comes out right there, coming out right there, but it's mostly right there by the big trees. And right there, and right there. I'll zoom in for y'all. And I dug up further and it wasn't there. And just on the other side right there, it coming out of ground also. That right there is coming out real good. Here, let me back off. One of these. And right up here, the power pole. I'm gonna walk toward a power pole from here. Remember that little green bush I said? I'll show y'all where I'm at. Right there. All through here. Okay, I'm gonna put the power pole right there. Turn around. Green bush is right there. Didn't know they did that. That green bush. Turn it back out. There's the power pole. There all the work. Right over there is where I've been putting cat litter in. And I stopped it. You can see there ain't no water coming in, and it just stopped. What's in it is just what rain filled up. And the rain, it filled up right here a little bit. Well, it went down. The rain, when we got a lot of rain, let's see if I can walk down this without falling. Let me grab hold of something. Oh, got it. Okay, came from right there. It filled up. I guess all the pressure released. It's still leaking right here. Cause I dug to the bottom, there wasn't nothing in that hole. I dug out a bunch of muck, and you see that looked like wood dirt where it rotted. And in there, that right there is probably 2 more feet below the top, and I hit sand rock. And right over here, the pond came up when we got a lot of rain. And all this right here, right through there, got flooded. And that up there is a hole that got filled up with water. It was dry. There was water all in here. And what's left of it is that water where it sunk down in there. And the heat and all that, the warm days evaporated the water out. But it's still got a leak. The problem back here behind the pond, when this pond was built, the spring was up here, and whenever they dug down, there was a spring coming off hill up here. When they dug down, the spring turned and went downhill. So one of these is the spring from up there, and one of these is a pond. Because I got a spring feeding the pond over there that used to keep that thing just up. Right now should be up almost about a foot below the dam right here, or 2 foot. It should be all the way up. And we never had a water coming out right there. It came from down at where the big pine trees are. That's why they so big, because the spring shifted over and went downhill. And all that started developing when the pond started going down. Oh, I'm wore out. Be glad when I got back on the tractor. I'm gonna walk over here. I don't know if that's gonna do justice or not about how steep. When a pond was new, the water level to the bottom was 27 feet deep. And it slanted at an angle too. Let me readjust this. It slanted at an angle on that side, a little bit steeper than this side. Because I drug all the not stumps, but limbs and roots and everything down there with a big chain link fence behind a through wheeler up that hill and up and over, and got rid of it on this side. And that's probably where all the trees came from, because I'm not thinking when I was a lot younger. I bought this place from the family. But anyhow, let me see which one would be the best angle before I turn it loose. I don't do clips or nothing like that, so let's see. That should be about right. I'm gonna angle it a little bit the other way if I can. Okay, Cookie. Let's go work. You gonna see the drive? There's one factor about doing it on small equipment. Fuel costs don't cost you nothing. You know, with fuel prices like it is now, 5 gallons cost me close to $30. That's a lot more than what I used to pay. But I did all this, the road, and I still got over a half tank left right now. Probably on 7 gallons of fuel on diesel. You take a bigger machine, you get quicker, but you're going to use a lot more fuel. I have had a lot bigger tractors before, and that's why I had I don't know, 25 years ago, I had a little John Deere with a loader on it, with a Bush Hog brand loader. It taught me a lot about loaders on farm equipment than what I was used to. The only thing I had was a box blade and a tractor. And I learned by watching dozers at the strip mines clear out the trees and all that, how to use the front blade. And I started doing that to a farm tractor with a box blade. And my 90% of my clearing was in reverse. And when I went to a front end loader, it made a whole lot better. And over the years, I have operated all kind of pieces of equipment, and each equipment has its own little quirks. You got to learn the machine before you start tackling hillsides and stuff like that. I do wear my seatbelt. I found out the hard way a long time ago, not wearing your seatbelt, what can happen. On that little John Deere I was digging, and the bottom ground fell out, and I went over the steering wheel. Yes, I was in my late 20s, but like, it scared the crap out of me. Plus, now it's funny, but I was okay. But I learned then, seatbelts is the number one. And right here, you get on, I'm trying to push all the greenery out right here. I'm fixing to turn the camera a little bit. You get hung up on grass and make it get stuck. And I was on top of roots right here where I got stuck where I go, and some greenery. And the roots, any trees, anything, will cause you not to get good traction on the hillside. They're good on mud holes, but not on hillsides. You need that ground dirt pipe drill. But I'm gonna finish clearing out a little bit of this. So when you go in, you're gonna have to go in at an angle. About another 2 or 3 buckets, I'll be done with this. Then I'm gonna move the camera back and I'll show you how I finish grade this. Not completely, graded. Try and get it where y'all can see it better. Got a little bit of tractor again, a little bit on this side. The left side got the digging out part, and the right side got the greenery. That's how you do it. I'll show you what I was doing. I was taking some of this dirt behind me. And smoothing it up, but while I was getting a full bucket full of dirt to help level. You know, you can't really level with a bucket with a front end loader that good. Not on roots and rocks and dirt and all that. See what you do when you go across a brush pile with dirt on top of it. You can't really do much like a dozer would. I got the bucket raised up for a reason. You wouldn't raise a bucket up on the side of the hill, would you? Unless you're trying to make it flip. And let me take it off this so you can see what kind of how level I can. If I work on it a lot longer, I can get it a lot smoother. But this is just for this video. I'm sitting on a hump right there, and I'm gonna walk it out, then I'm gonna end video. Well, I'll probably ride out with y'all, then I'll end the video. Before I do, I'll show you exactly, you know, I use a backhoe for weight, basically what I use it for. And sometimes I do get stuck. Sometimes it helps. I can get out with it. Sometimes I can't. I have to drive out or get pulled out. Using that bar to push myself up. This is a little setup. You don't have to have a big setup to make little roads or any road. You can see all the big roots I was dealing with. I was breaking them apart and all that. And this is about how big it is. I wear a size 12. If I can balance myself. So I'm wide too, so how big it is. But I ain't worried about that up there. I just wanted something where I can get down through here safely. And like I said, you wouldn't, this right here was all on slant. And I'll show y'all my fuel level. Maybe a little bit lower because it's sitting on a little light slightly downhill and the fuel tank on this side over here. Sitting on 3/4 right there. And that's the video. Please like and subscribe. I know it's just a long video. I hadn't put out one this long in a long time. Most of the time I break them up, but I'm gonna see how it works. If people like it, I'll do more longer ones. And I'm trying my best put them out. Most of the time I forget. Like when I cleared out this hillside right here, I forgot all about it. Didn't even think about it. And the other part behind me, I forgot about it. Well, God bless y'all, and I'll see y'all on the next video when it comes out.